Welcome to another class of app development with Python. In this class, I'm going to show you everything you need to know and everything to get you started with making the layout. So as this is all about the layout, I'm also going to be showing you how you can make buttons and labels inside of the app which you're working with the GUI. Now, for a couple of people who have zero experience, it's going to be a bit confusing, but I'm going to divide the class in a couple of sections and I'm going to show you every step which you have to follow up so that you get the best result or the best outcome at the end. So make sure not to skip any part because if you do, you might miss out on something very important and then you might face a couple of hassle by facing some errors. So without any further ado, let's hop onto our class by opening up any IDE, but as in this class, I'm going to be using PyCharm. So let's just get on and open up PyCharm on our device. And if you're using VSC, then it is also quite going to be very similar. So make sure to follow it up. As you can see on my screen, I have opened up PyCharm on my device. First thing, what you have to do is that you should have your main file, which we've opened up or made in my previous class. So when you basically play this main.py file, you will basically see this type of console with without any interface or any buttons inside of it, or it's going to be just blank. But we are going to customize it. So in my previous class, I've shown you how you can make the KV file. Now, about making the KV file, you have to also keep one thing in mind that it should be similar to the ones which you've used on this console over here. So make sure to create your own KV file and also follow up the steps. So if you are on PyCharm, what you're going to basically do is just go off to the project folder, which is basically this Python project 1, which I've already named it. So right click on this one, not the VENV, okay? So right click on this Python project and then click on new and click on file. Not Python, not scratch file, only file. So when you click on this type of console will open up. And now here you're going to type in, let's say, the kivi, because the kivi is the exact keyword which we've used right over here. Okay, so make sure to keep that thing in mind. KIVY. You don't have to type in app like the kivi app because that is going to be the name, but we are using that as, let's say, consonant or let's say the variable which we are going to use. So I'm going to type in the kivi dot KV. Okay, so exactly this is what we need and hit on enter. Okay, so when you hit on enter, you can see sometimes it would be like different format, but we are going to need a text. So right click on this file and then you can go off to override file type and you can create whichever one you prefer. So here you can use native, you can use PHP, plain text. It's basically up to you and it also doesn't need to be KV most of the time. Okay, so here I'm going to put in PHP, but it is still going to be a solid text file. Okay, so as we have our solid text file, another thing which you might see most of the time is that you might not have this play button. Okay, so if you don't have the play button, it's also totally fine. I'm going to show you, and this is the most common error most people face or the most new people face. Okay, so what you're going to do is go off the main.py file and you're going to right click on any open space and then click on run main. Okay, so you can also use the shortcut key, which is Control Shift plus F10, like turn that on and you'll basically see this is how it will look like. And now we're going to put everything which we need. One thing you're going to see over here is that when we use from Kiwi UIX widget import widget, we're going to use this variable as our representation. So we're going to take this Control C and we're going to paste it right over here. So the main widget is going to be what we are going to be working with. And it's also going to bypass it up to this text command or this text file. And we're going to customize it the way we want to. Okay, so make sure to keep that thing in mind. And inside, we're going to also customize it the way we want to. So I'm going to put in the main widget, which is basically our variable. And now you can see when you put in, let's say the main widget, it is already showing me which one to use. So that means that it is still using the main py file and it has already bypassed it up. So I'm going to use the main widget, put in a colon, and then you're going to go off, put in the button. Okay. So the button, which we're going to put inside, make sure to put in a tab because it's going to be inside of the button. So I'm going to put in text. Now let's say I'm going to put in a colon or, double colon or double quotation. And inside I'm going to put in hello. So one thing you have to keep in mind is that when you are working with py and kivi at the same time, which is the GUI library, make sure to use colon, not equal. Now, if we play up the whole thing, we're going to stop and rerun. And now you'll basically see we have this button over here working as our widget. Now, if we just, increase or decrease up the console, it is still going to have that on the corner. But obviously, I'm going to show you how you are going to customize this button or the widget. Now, another thing is that if you try using numerical values, so if I put in, let's say, 98. Now, if I just play the whole thing, you'll basically see 98 will also be visible. Another thing you can try over here is that obviously, if you have basic idea about the Python, you know that when you are working with numerical values, you don't need double quotation. So we can try playing it out and check it out. Now, one thing you will see over here that it will not be able to play it up because we don't have anything to like represent. So one thing which is very important while using the Kiwi is that you are going to need double quotation, whatever you are trying to represent. So when you put in double quotation and then play it, it will be visible. If not, it's not going to be visible because that is very sensitive. Okay. So if we just put in, let's say another text, let's say I'm going to put in orange and put in a double quotation to close off the text. And now if I play it up, you'll basically see it will change up the text anytime we are changing it up. Okay. So now let's show you how you are going to change or customize the text or customize the widget. So inside of the text, I'm also going to be putting it on this indentation level. You will basically see this line over here. That means it's only going to customize the button. So let's start off with the size. Now inside of the size, I'm going to put in a colon. And here you're going to start off with the height and width. Okay. So I'm going to put in, let's say 300, comma. Let's say I'm going to put in 150. There we go. We have the specific value. And obviously we're going to put in a bit of space. And you might see that this is going to be blue in color. So make sure to keep that thing in mind. And now the position, which we are going to do is going to be, let's say like this. The position is going to be, let's say I'm going to put in 120, comma, and I'm going to put in 220. Okay. So after I put in 120 and 220, you can try playing out the whole thing, but you will just try, check it out on your own. Now you can see we have done our customizations. Okay. Now you can also fix it up according to your display pixels. Okay. So I'm going to put in, let's say double quotation on each and every one, double quotation. I'm going to put in DP and then double quotation to close it off. You're going to do the same thing over here, 150 DP, and you're going to do the same thing on the next ones. It's also going to be the same. Let's say I'm going to put in double quotation, close it off. Do the same thing on each and every one. Let's say I'm going to put in 120 display pixels, double quotation, DP, double quotation to close it off. Now you can also customize it just by reducing the size too. Now, if I just play up the whole thing, you'll basically see this is still working the same because obviously the values are the same. But if we change it up, let's say if I put in 30 and play it up, you'll basically see this is how it looks like. If we change up this one, let's say I'm going to put in 50 over here and play it up, you can see this is how it looks like. If we change it up to 20, and if we change it up to, let's say, 25 and play up the whole thing, you'll basically see this is how it will look like. Okay. So basically now you know how you are going to customize or how you're going to change up the size. Okay. So I'm going to do is going to be typing in 250, 200, 300 over here. And here I'm going to put in 500. Okay. There we go. Play up the whole thing. And this is how it will look like. Okay. Now we're going to customize the button just a bit more. Okay. So we're going to put another one. Let's say I'm going to go off over here. And instead of putting the button inside of this indentation level, I'm going to go back it up to the button where we put the indentation of this button or this text. Okay, so I'm going to put in another button, which is going to help me to put another widget or another button over here. And I'm going to put it inside of this indentation level. I'm going to put in text. So the text which I'm going to be using over here is double quotation. I'm going to put in hi. Okay, so that is what I'm going to be using, and I'm going to put in the size of this. Do not press on tab, instead put in this colon, which is going to help you to understand it a bit more better. So if we have it on 300, I'm going to reduce it to, let's say, 400 over here. There we go. Let's just try playing it. And you might see that it will not work because we did not put any value over here. So if I just put in 100, the size is going to be 100, comma, and then inside of this quotation, I'm going to put in 200. There we go. Go to the next one. And the position of this is going to be different. So here I'm going to put in, let's say, double quotation again, 200. Let's say I'm going to put in DP on each and every one, which is going to be very helpful for Python to understand what we're trying to type in, comma. And then you're going to put in, let's say, another variable over here. Let's say I'm going to put in, let's say, 300 DP. Now play up the whole thing, and you'll basically see this is basically how it's going to work like, okay? So you can also do the same thing just by like removing anyone. Let's say if I just take out this one, let's say I'm going to just press on Control X, and if I play it out, you'll basically see this is how it's going to look like. But if we take it up over here and play up the whole thing, let's just say I'm going to take it up to this level. And if we play it up again, you'll basically see that it will be an error because we have to take it to this line, play, and you can see we have it all over here. There we go, button, the second button over here, play, and you can see we only have orange over here, okay? So make sure to keep that thing in mind, and obviously try like overlaying each and everything. One thing, why is this text not visible? It's because this is being overlaid by this orange button. So if we have to change this, let's say the size, I'm going to reduce it to 30. I'm going to reduce it to 40. And if I just play it up, you'll basically see now it is visible. The high is visible. So it will also overlay depending on which command or which text you put. So if you put the button at the bottom, it's going to be at the top. If you put the button at the bottom, or let's say start first, it's going to be at the bottom. So you can also like understand this also works with layers. Okay. So this is basically what you need to know about buttons and sizing them up. And you're also going to be able to customize the color anytime you want to. So if you want to customize the color, you're also going to need codes. So obviously Python is not going to take a command like, okay, turn it blue. So one thing you're going to see over here is that you have to put in this color command or this color code, which is going to help you to customize your color. So if you just put in something like blue, it's not going to understand. Even if we just, type in the double quotation inside like here, and if I just play it up, it's not going to identify sometimes. But you can see if you're using the latest version of PyCharm and if you're using the latest version of Python, it's going to be changed. Okay, so that is how simple it is when you are working with Python version 3. If you're using Python version 2, it's not that versatile, neither is it that flexible. So when you are trying to use Python version 2, what you basically have to do is come up with numbers or the hex codes. So the number for blue is going to be 0, comma, and then put in 0, comma, and then put in 1, comma, and then 1. Now, if you play it up, you'll basically see the color is going to be blue. Now you can do the same thing. Let's try another color over here. Let's just take this over here and I'm going to put in color, put in the colon, and inside I'm going to put in, let's say 1, comma 0, comma 0, comma, and 1. Play up the whole thing and you'll basically see it is going to turn red. Now you can also put in the quotation, let's just say I'm going to do is going to be putting in the quotation here. I'm going to put in red. Now, if I play it up, you'll basically see it will run in red. If I put in orange inside of it, and if I play up the whole thing, it will run orange. If I just turn this value into, let's say, purple, and if I just play it up, it will also understand which color to identify, and it's going to customize it according to the way you need it to be. Okay? So hope you understood everything about how you are going to customize your buttons and labels, and also how you're going to fix up the size and how you're going to represent it on your app or on your console. Okay? So thank you for watching this video up till the very end, and hope you understood about everything in this class. If you still have any confusion or any question about any part of this lesson, feel free to ask me anytime. I'm always there to help you out. Just make sure to obviously turn on this run main, because if you do not run the main, the Kiwi file which you are making is not going to work. Another thing what you're going to do over here is you have this button over here. Make sure to always click on the main or unnamed, whichever one you prefer, but always make sure that the main file is always running and is bypassed with these two files. Okay? So without any further ado, let's move on to our next lesson, where we are going to be showing you how you can customize your box layout and to learn everything about it.